Since January 1st, 2021, I have been participating in the 100 Days of Code Challenge, which is a challenge in which people are encouraged to write some code for 1 hour every day for 100 days. The point of this challenge is to get people to learn coding and ideally help them score jobs in the tech industry later on. For my part, I've started coding close to 14 years ago, back when I was in middle school, and have now been working professionally as a game developer for 5 years. But I still wanted to participate in the challenge because I wanted to force myself to work on various game projects and possibly even learn a few things along the way. It was on April 10th, after a long 100 days, that I finally completed the challenge. So I want to share a few tips with you, and those tips can be applied to both this challenge and to other projects you may have in your life. First and foremost, I know it's a classic and it's a bit cheesy, but honestly I believe it's a good tip. Try to enjoy yourself and try to find some fun in your work in some shape or form. It will definitely improve your learning and help you keep motivated. The hardest times for me during the challenge were times where I simply was not enjoying myself. And so this is why I'll say it again: enjoy yourself and do whatever you want to do. Second tip, another big classic: have clear objectives. I personally didn't have any clearly defined goals until almost 75 days of the challenge. As a result, I spent many days working aimlessly on tiny projects and feeling dreadfully uninspired. So if there's something you want to do, set yourself a deadline, and if the task is daunting, divide it in smaller, manageable tasks. For example, I spent a large part of the challenge working on a game engine, and game engines are huge pieces of software with many components. So to make the development less intimidating, I divided it in smaller tasks I could accomplish in a day or two, such as implement 2D sprites or integrate a collision library. If you're new to coding, your long-term goal could be to finish a tutorial, but your daily tasks could be to finish given chapters of that tutorial. No matter what the task is, keep in mind that it is not set in stone. It's perfectly alright to change objectives midway if that is what you prefer. Tip number 3. Ideas can come from anywhere and at any time. There are so many projects I started on a whim. If you are new to programming, you may not know what is possible and what is not, so you can set yourself the goal to finish a tutorial. Or you can also look online for beginner project ideas. I'll put a few ideas in the description. This in turn may inspire you to work on ideas of your own. For example, at some point during the challenge I was feeling especially uninspired, so I looked online for some ideas. I eventually settled on working on a card game. But after talking about that idea around me, I found an idea for a much more ambitious game. And that new idea occupied me for many weeks. Tip number 4, do not overdo it. It's extremely easy to spend many hours in a row coding, and working too hard can easily lead to a burnout. The first few weeks I dedicated way more than 1 hour per day to this challenge. This resulted in me rarely ever feeling rested even after the weekends. So after I decided to reduce the amount of work I'd put in, I noticed an immediate change. So I'll say this one again: do not overdo it, it's important to rest too. And final tip, keep working on your code even once the challenge is over. Practicing is, after all, by far the best way to improve. And so that's all the tips I have for today, and I hope they will be helpful to you. Have a wonderful day and best of luck to all of you coders, whether you are doing the 100 Days of Code challenge or not.